Hello everybody, my name is Llaeli, and I'm here to talk about some BlizzCon news. This is Llaeli Prime, she is my main. Llaeli, the other Llaeli, who is running Burning Crusade, is, I call her Dark Llaeli because her hair is darker and I am unique like that. Basically, several of my friends asked me about my thoughts about BlizzCon, which was online this year, so it was BlizzConline, which is kind of an awkward thing to say, but there you go. And since they're the only people that watch this channel, I figured I would just kind of put it all out there this way, so I don't have to keep repeating myself in texts or voice chats, excuse me. So I'm only planning to talk about the opening ceremony and what info we got there, partially because I'm still binging all of the panels. I have not watched anything about Overwatch. I have not finished all of Hearthstone yet, and I still want to watch the art panels and the community stuff. It's been a bit of a weekend, so forgive me for being a little behind. So I'm in Bastion right now doing some world quests, so forgive me if I get a little bit distracted. Eventually I'd like to be doing this where I don't have to just wander around on my character. I can edit videos together, but until I find the time and the skills to do that, we're going to just do it this way. So BlizzCon Online. Oh, okay, we'll ignore that. Sorry. BlizzCon Online started with J. Allen Brack coming out and talking to us about how it's the 30th anniversary of Blizzard, and 30 is a lot of years, as he said. You know they're going to be making memes about that forever. So on top of that, the first thing that was announced at the opening ceremony was the Blizzard Arcade Collection, which is super exciting because I never got to play any of these games before. It's going to include the Lost Vikings and Rock and Roll Racing, there we go, and Blackthorn. And it's available on a bunch of different consoles, and if you bought the package, like the Blizzard 30th Anniversary package, which we all know I did, you'll get to play it for free on the PC. I already
took hold of Bastion's
100%.
Forces, turning wildlife and Kyrian alike against their own. Agvia's defenders fought valiantly to push back their corrupted allies.
There we go. I 100% bought it on Switch as well because I use my Switch an awful lot when I am not on my computer. I haven't had a chance to really try them yet, but I plan to kind of talk about them when I do. I'm very excited. So the next thing that happened in the opening ceremony was WoW Shadowlands, and we got a cinematic, and it was a sad one. In case y'all missed it, there will be spoilers ahead from here. I forgot to say that at the beginning, but I will put a little note up at the beginning of the video, so whatever. Yeah, so the cinematic showed, I wrote down Varian about 4 times and then had to rewrite it. Anduin talking to Sylvanas about how she has all of the power, it was her decision, and how does she know she is not a tool just as much as the rest of us, to the jailer. And the next thing we know, Anduin is arriving at Bastion, which is where I'm currently at, which is kind of appropriate, I suppose. I'm getting away from that bell because it's very noisy. And he is requesting to see the Archon. And there's kind of a really beautiful moment in there where he walks past Uther, who I don't know exactly what happens to Uther because I haven't quite finished that campaign yet, but I have a pretty good idea. And Uther's reaction definitely brought up a lot of stuff even while it was happening. Some people think he saw Arthas because there's been a lot of parallels being drawn between Anduin and Arthas. Some people think he sensed something was wrong. But in the end, Anduin shows up and talks to the Archon, and it turns out he's being possessed by the jailer, and he's kind of a Death Knight now. And he stabs the Archon in the chest and receives a key, which he says he needs 3 more later, which I'm assuming means it's 1 for each zone in the Shadowlands. I'm sad. I'm really hoping this isn't permanent for him because I really liked Anduin the way he is. He's really grown on me over the years. But he is now essentially a Death Knight, and the cinematic ends with him and Sylvanas talking to the jailer, and the jailer showing the chains of domination leading to this new land that we don't know the name of yet. We find out later. And there's an interesting little shot of Sylvanas over Anduin's shoulder, and she kind of looks concerned that she may have done something wrong. My poor boyfriend had to deal with me freaking out because I thought at first that she had actually let Anduin go, and I was like, wait, is she finally like not being a bee? No, I was proved wrong. That was another disappointment, but hey, I shouldn't expect anything less from Sylvanas at this point. And that's about it for that cinematic. We did also find out about the next WoW charity pet, which, funny enough, is going to be Bananas, who I actually already have from the... hang on one second. From the trading card game back in Burning Crusade. Ooh, I just knocked my microphone. Sorry. There he is. So that'll be kind of funny. I don't know if I'll get like a second copy of him. He's as big as me, which I always thought was hilarious. There he is. Hi, buddy. And I guess the way this works is instead of him just being a base price, we're, as a community, all chipping in, and when we meet the goal, we all get him. And then if we meet a stretch goal, we're going to get Daisy the Sloth, who I want really badly. She hangs around your neck in case you need a hug, as they said in the opening ceremony, which I love. So then we got to meet Holly, who is, I believe she's one of the, oh my gosh, executive producers on the game. I could be wrong. I'll have to look up her title, and I'll put it down below this window so you can see it. I love her and her outfit, and she looks amazing, and she's there to talk about WoW Classic. And we got the big announcement that was leaked early, but I'm still super excited about, which was Burning Crusade Classic, which kind of puts into question everything I've been doing with Llaeli, Dark Llaeli. We'll have to talk about that later. But it's really cool. She talked about Fel Reavers and going back into raids, and basically, I am so prepared. So prepared. Okay, so then we moved on to Hearthstone, and earlier in the month, I think this month, they had announced about the core set and classic play and how they're changing the classic set and removing cards and adding cards. They didn't go into huge amounts of detail, but it was pretty cool. I'm excited to kind of see where they're going. I just kind of got back into Hearthstone with the more recent expansions. Excuse me. So I'm kind of excited that I'm coming in at such a cool time. They mention battlegrounds and duels, and then they said that there will be more Book of Heroes coming up, which I really like because I like the single player content a lot. I'm really bad at playing Hearthstone otherwise. And then they announced Forged in the Barrens, which is the first expansion of the Year of the Griffin, which is the year that we're about to start. Very exciting. It's very Horde centric, which you could tell just from the cinematic that they showed. They did give a shout out that Alliance will be getting their Alliance centered expansion in the future, which made me happy because, you know, we should all get a fair chance to have fun in Hearthstone. And then they mentioned Mercenaries, which it sounds like it's going to be both a single player and a multiplayer experience, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I haven't finished all the Hearthstone panels yet, so we will see. And then the big event, they brought up Diablo 4. And if you don't know me in person, I love Diablo. I really enjoyed 3, even with all of its problems. I especially enjoyed it after Reaper of Souls came out and they added a bunch of new stuff. So they introduced the Rogue in a very, very graphic cinematic, and talked about how she is essentially from... Excuse me. She is essentially they pulled her forward from Diablo 1, which is very cool. They talked about ears, which I guess I looked a little bit into this, is you earned those through PvP in Diablo 2, and I guess they're coming back in Diablo 4, which is kind of cool because I know they got rid of... they didn't really do anything with PvP in Diablo 3. I'm definitely not doing this right. Anyway, I'll figure it out. Excuse me. And then they mentioned how much they want to do. They want to make things customized. They want to put customization first, which is very cool. They talked about mounts and the open world, and the graphics just look amazing. I know a lot of people are like, well, it looks just like Diablo 3. Well, of course it looks just like Diablo 3. They're using the updated engine to create this. I do think, however, that it looks much darker than Diablo 3, which is not saying a lot because according to a lot of people, Diablo 3 was not very dark. The cinematics that we've seen between this and BlizzCon 2019 tells me that it's a much even grimmer than normal tale. And then they brought up Diablo Immortal, and I kind of held my breath because we all know how that went when... Oh, I messed up. Anyway, I kind of held my breath because we all know how that went back in... Excuse me. Back in 2018, BlizzCon 2018. Which that was really hard to watch just from home because I didn't go that year. But so I accidentally hit the spell and went where I wasn't supposed to because I'm supposed to do this out here. Anyway, that hurt my heart that year because of all the BlizzCons I've attended, and I attended a lot, and and that I've watched. I've never really heard that much. I've never heard booing at all until that BlizzCon. Okay, excuse me for being dumb, but I'm going to leave this area because I think I messed something up. So anyway, the thing is, I know everybody's upset about it being mobile. I know people are upset about it being on the computer, or not being on the computer, excuse me, because we all love Diablo on the PC. But I'm mostly excited for all the new lore we're supposed to be getting because it is set between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, and there's a lot that goes on, and finding out more background around the characters we play and the people we meet, I just think would be very cool. So there's that. I think I just found my way to where I wanted to be. Anyway, so they didn't give a ton about it in the opening ceremony. They do talk about it a lot more in a panel that I'll talk about later. And then the big moment. They announced Diablo 2 Resurrected, which looks amazing. I did play Diablo 2, not a ton, but I did play it, and the graphics look amazing. The fact that they are... Excuse me, I'm just going to sit here and talk. The fact that they're basically remastering the textures. They're going for more of a StarCraft remastered aesthetic rather than a Warcraft 3 reforged mistake. There's a lot of hype. They're going to be recreating the cinematics shot for shot and modernizing them. And it is Vicarious Visions doing this, which was recently acquired by Activision Blizzard. They did the remakes or the remasters, whichever one you want to call them, of the Crash Bandicoot series and the Tony Hawk series. They've been doing this a long time, so I trust them. I trust that they're not going to make the same mistakes Warcraft 3 made, and it certainly looks gorgeous. And from the panel that I watched, I'm super excited. Unfortunately, they did not talk about StarCraft 2, which is not really a surprise given that they did just tell us that they will not be doing any more updates to StarCraft 2. They'll still be supporting it in the background, especially with esports, but they will not be doing any more new content. I'm not surprised by that. And I guess there's a lot more behind it than I knew, just based on listening to people talk on The Instance and some other podcasts that I listened to. The big thing to me missing from that was Overwatch 2. We did not hear a darn thing about it in the opening ceremony. And Heroes of the Storm, which unfortunately seems to have been put on the back burner and left to just kind of try to survive on its own. I know the content updates have come very few and far between.
This area is
they
in
cancel. Sorry.
Luckily, we have many stewards at our disposal to address any problem we may have.
Oh my gosh, what is it called?
Please see that order is restored.
They ended the esports version of it, which I'm suddenly blanking on the name of. Hopefully I'll just remember and put it at the bottom of the screen. Anyway, and that was really sad. I know some people I listened to were very hyped to hopefully hear about even just a new character or something. I guess they did reveal Hogger like 2 weeks ago, and that was supposedly supposed to be a BlizzCon announcement, which makes me wonder why they didn't just wait until BlizzCon. I think they just ran out of time in the opening ceremony, but it really does suck. And that's about it. lots of hype for lots of things. I definitely did a lot of freaking out and crying, especially over all of the memories of past BlizzCons and them talking about how this is so very different. It was weird to not hear any kind of cheering for any of these announcements. Even when you watch it online, you can still hear the audience. And it was missing that... it was missing that feeling, that buzz of the room and the excitement. That building, the Anaheim Convention Center, literally like shakes during, not literally, but it certainly feels like it's shaking during the opening ceremony because we are just so excited, and all of our reactions and our cheers and our clapping and our freaking out, and the sense of community and love for this company and these worlds and these characters. And I know Blizzard's had some rough couple of years, especially since they were, I don't say they're not really acquired by Activision. They were kind of merged into it because it is the same title. Anyway, depends on who you ask, I suppose. But it's always nice to feel like I'm coming home. And I miss Mike Morhaime saying, "Welcome home." But 30 years of Blizzard. It was an excellent opening ceremony, in my opinion. I'm really happy they were able to do something. I definitely bought a whole bunch of swag during the ceremony. But that's it. I'm planning to kind of do a more extensive response to some of the reveals, especially Warcraft and Diablo. I may put that in a blog post. I may do a video. I'm also thinking about doing some responses to the different covenants, since I finally reached 60 and finished all their stories, or most of the base stories. And we'll see what happens with Dark Llaeli. I know the plan was to do more with her during Burning Crusade, but since Burning Crusade Classic is coming, I'm trying to decide if I should keep going with that plan, or if I should... Sorry, bananas. Oops. No. Or if I should... Excuse me, I messed up there. Or if I should start a new character and do Wrath of the Lich King instead of Burning Crusade, and then when Burning Crusade Classic comes out, do that instead. If you have an opinion, shoot me a comment or a message. I'm at Llaeli1031 on Twitter. I also check YouTube. If you know me in person, you can Facebook message or text me. Any feedback is always appreciated. And that's about it. So all that crap about liking and subscribing and all that jazz, I know it's mostly my friends watching, and that's totally okay. But until next time, have a good one. Bye.